Hey everybody, how are we doing? Larking is just fine, Moscow. I appreciate you stopping by. So, I have come up with a completely new setup where I'm streaming off of two PCs now. I think everything should be working like I wanted, but um, let me know if anything seems off with either my audio or when we get into the game, if the game audio seems off somehow. But I think things should be working more or less. Yes, yes, Kiss, I do know how you're doing. We will get through this. Alright, we might as well get started. So we can turn off the opera. And start up the game. Okay. I hope that you're cooking some good stuff that tastes good. Hey Orc, how's it going? And yes, kiss and hugs, definitely not using the salt. Glad you're here, Orc. We are ready to get underway. I was just telling Kiss and Hugs in Moscow, I am running a slightly different setup now. I have a second PC, one dedicated for streaming, so I'm gonna run things a little bit differently. And yeah, Kiss and Hugs did not receive great news today, so any support that we can give Kiss and Hugs is greatly appreciated. We're gonna get through this. Don't you worry, we are gonna get through this. No, Kiss and Hugs, it's okay. Obviously, we've talked about this quite a bit today. You are entitled to your emotions right now, and we're going to get through this. Don't you worry about it.
Who should I call?
So we're going to make a phone call. Because we want to find out some more information.
It's a receipt for a hunting license.
That's not. what I wanted. I might be in the wrong place for what I need to do right now. We're all here for you, Kiss. We're all here for you. I definitely forgot to do something at the police station, so we're going to take a trip back into Munich.
Mr. Knight.
Kommissar Lieber?
Sit down.
That's alright. The museums are going to feel like punishment here, too.
Grossberg. Didn't Liba say that was the name of the guy who was killed last night?
This is what I forgot to do. Don't turn around, Kiss. What is the Mutter Museum, Artswag? I'm intrigued. Okay, there's always stuff that I forget to click on whenever I'm anywhere.
I don't have any more questions for the commissar.
He won't be suspicious about the fact that I walked in there, stared at the map,
Stay out
and
the
then walked
public.
away.
Of course.
That's an interesting museum. Medical oddities, that's an interesting topic right now.
Gabriel, come in.
Hey, Harry.
I need to ask him some stuff. Yes.
You mentioned the possibility of my using your secretary for research?
Anytime.
Great. I wouldn't ask, but I need a newspaper search done, and my German sucks.
No problem. What exactly are you looking for?
Missing persons. Actually, missing persons cases that occurred
Yes. I
in
love
or near
Harry.
forested areas.
How far back do you want to go?
10 years?
Okay, I can spare her later in the day. We should have it ready for you by tomorrow.
Great. Thanks. Well, I'm off. See you, Harry.
Goodbye.
Hey, Nico. Ulu to you, too. Appreciate you stopping by.
White sausage. Yum. I don't think she speaks much English. Besides, she only wants to talk about white sausages.
So now, I think I can go back to, Ulu. That is a great emote. Love that emote. Now we go back to the farm. Now I should have a piece of paper with a phone number that I can use on the phone. Hello, phone. Hey, Three Step. Good to see you here.
Hello?
Hello. My name is Knight. I'm an American associate of Herr Grossberg's.
Yes? I was just calling the people in Herr Großberg's address book to notify them. Have you heard that Herr Großberg has...
Yes, I know about his death.
Yes, I'm sorry. Would you mind giving me your name again so I can check you off the list?
Knight.
Ella Hoffman... I'm not finding you.
Could you check under Vaughn? It's Vaughn Knight.
Oh, so... Yes, Von. Von Eigner, von Frank, von Stein... You're not under Von either.
Excuse me, did you say Von Agner?
Yes?
Do you know Von Agner?
I don't know him. I don't know most of Großberg's business contacts.
Backflash is a good word.
Grossberg knew him.
If this is about money, you're out of luck. All the accounts are locked until someone comes in and takes over. Besides, there's nothing in them anyway.
Really? Well, could you just look up an account balance for me?
I can't. The address book is all I have. The police have taken Herr Großberg's ledgers.
Oh, well, thank you.
Goodbye.
Werewolf stuff is appropriate to work on while we play this. And I think maybe
I don't want to distract Gracie from her Ludwig research with another letter.
Okay, we don't want to talk to Gracie just yet. I kind of thought we did. It's actually somewhat disconcerting because I rather thought I did want to write Gracie right now. Oh, no, I didn't. I did that earlier. That's why I'm confused and just staring at a book instead of playing end game. Alright, keys to the car. Now I think we want to head back to the club.
The police station is closed.
Okay. Let's head to the club.
I think I've pumped that particular well dry.
Oh, Xavier. People here.
Good night.
Right.
And you, Herr Price? You look a little wet.
Oh, I was visiting a friend nearby, and I thought that I should take a shower before the others arrived. I was a bit automatic.
Well, how thoughtful.
That guy's not sleazy at all. Not even a little. I keep using the wrong mouse.
Just the right size for the big bad wolf to come down the chimney.
Herr Price?
Yes.
What do you know about voodoo?
Baron von Glau mentioned that you're a lawyer.
Yes. And fortunately for me these days, I have enough money to where I only have to take those cases which interest me. I enjoy my leisure time.
And what do you do with your leisure time?
I entertain.
It very well could be. It very well could be shutting Jägermeister.
Probably a dumb question, but what sort of entertaining do you do?
Do you like women, Herr Knight?
I've been known to.
I adore them. You might call it an obsession. The stalk, the dance, the bait, the hook.
And what do you do once you've hooked him?
Oh, you know. You're quite the pleasurist yourself. Or have I misled you?
You're probably just getting a whiff of the past, Herr Price. What do you think of the club philosophy?
It works, doesn't it?
Does it?
We're all animals, but I deny it.
So you don't believe in suppressing anything?
Why would I want to suppress my urges? If your body wants something, it must be natural.
Well, what if you get the natural urge to rip someone's throat out?
Well, fortunately, my instincts run to pleasure. Of the equally sticky but less fatal kind.
Well, what about those whose instincts are fatal? Shouldn't they suppress?
I believe that nature handles that scenario when it occurs here at night.
And how does it do that exactly?
In the wild, when a member of society does not conform, he is hunted down and executed. end of mutant instinct and its genetic bloodline.
This guy is not creepy at all. Not even a little bit. Not at all.
Tell me about the other club members.
Oh, they're all right. Don't worry about Von Zell. He's a bastard to everyone these days.
PMS?
I don't know what his problem
no
is.
doubt, three-step.
Oh, he's always been an arrogant bastard, competitive on the hunts, ambitious. But still, aren't we all? He was decent enough at one time. In fact, he was Von Gloria's favorite. And he was an asset as a friend. But things change.
And what about the other club members?
Like who?
Henneman, for example. I've heard he's in line for a position extremely high up in the government.
Henneman, he is a drunk. His days as a political superstar are over. My friends at the courthouse tell me that he has been marked for early retirement. One less politician to worry about, huh?
When did Von Zell begin to change?
Oh, he's been getting worse for a long time. I remember a hunting trip about a year ago. That was the last time I remember that we were all together and having a good time. He must have started getting difficult after that.
Seems like you've pretty much written Von Zell off yourself. Any particular reason?
Look, it's one thing when he insults the rest of us. But when he insults the Baron, no. I heard him arguing once. When Glover told Von Zell he acted stupidly about something or the other, Von Zell was furious.
What'd he say?
He told the Baron that he was weak. Bastard. I don't know why the Baron let him get away with it. I mean, I would have said something at the time, but, well, it was a private conversation.
Uh-huh. When was this?
I don't know. 5, 6 weeks ago?
Interesting timing.
How was Von Zell an asset as a friend?
He is a banker.
Are you saying he loaned you money?
He's always willing to help out his good friends.
Why would anyone in this club need money? I thought y'all were models of success.
Yes, well, fortunately, I took less advantage of Von Zell's hospitality than some.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
Yes.
Really, where?
Oh, I don't know. Just sounds familiar.
Will you tell me if you remember?
Of course. The reinforcements have arrived. Now you'll have someone new to probe, Herr Knight.
My brilliant man, good cheer to you both. Where's the beer?
Guten Abend, mein Herr. Good evening.
Guten Abend.
To the beer.
Wo wir da in der Steine weißen
Ja,
wir,
ja,
ja. Abend.
Abend. Baron von Zell. Meine kleine Familie. How are you all this evening? Hello. Gabriel, I'm glad you could join us.
I need to speak with the Baron. Enjoy your evening, Herr Knight.
Thanks. I will.
Baron, may I speak to you for a minute?
What is it, Bryce?
Oh, the big bunch of happy people.
Ich habe meinen Nachmittagstermin abgesagt. Wir treffen uns hier um 4 Uhr.
Ja, so viel ich weiß, ja.
Ja, so, good evening, Herr Knight.
Hanneman, Von Agner?
You care to join us?
Sure. Thanks.
Yes.
I've spoken to several of the club members today, but I haven't had a chance to speak with you yet, Herr Von Agner.
How tragic. No one in this club talks better than I do.
Oh, true, very true.
Perhaps tomorrow?
Yes.
I'd be delighted.
Yes, drunk werewolf seems interesting.
I haven't had a chance to get to know you yet, Herr Hanneman.
Well, I'm already beyond serious conversation tonight, I'm afraid.
Tomorrow's fine.
He just poured his first drink 2 seconds ago. Lightweight.
Have you guys heard about the mutilation killing last night? Happened right around the corner.
Awful, simply awful.
I'd meant to get a newspaper, but the time got away from me. Do you have any details?
A few. The victim was a man named Grossberg. He ran a furrier business in town.
Horrible. You know, this zoo wolf business is inexcusable. The mayor has been spoken to, and quite seriously. Even the prime minister is concerned.
Did you know Grossberg, Herr Von Eck?
Me? Grossberg? Why, no. Why do you ask?
I just thought you're both in the animal processing business.
Munich is a big city, Herr Knight.
So it is. Ah, well, I was just curious.
Sus.
So what were y'all talking about when I came up?
Tomorrow's little excursion. Will you be joining us?
Our monthly hunting trip.
A hunt trip? Really? Where?
Our lodge is at Eppenberg. It's in the Bavarian National Forest. We leave tomorrow afternoon.
Well, gosh, you know, that sounds great, but I need to have my gun cleaned and...
Oh, there are plenty of guns at the lodge.
Yeah, Von Eigner, perhaps the Baron did not mean for Herr Knight to join us quite so soon.
Oh, hell, why not? Baron?
Von Eigner?
Our hunting trip tomorrow. Will our new American friend be going with us?
Herr Knight? Well, I don't see why he could...
Of course not. He's not a club member. He's probably not even registered with the license office.
Nonsense, Gar. The sooner we get to see his technique, the better. We'll just slip him in, and he can register properly when we get back.
But that's not legal.
Since when do you care about legalities? It's only a hunting license?
I agree. I would enjoy Gabriel's presence very much.
Well, enough said. The Baron should certainly get whatever he wants, shouldn't he? Perhaps it will be an interesting exercise at that.
Okay. Who is more bitchy, Von Zell or Grace? I think that's a question worth answering. I'm not sure.
Hey.
Can I join you in a moment, Gabriel? Price and I are almost finished.
Okay. I'll be around.
Yes, Herr Knight?
How's it going?
Fine. Would you excuse us, please? We are discussing something private.
Oh, sure.
You know what? That is very valid, Kiss and Hugs. Very valid.
Yes, Herr Knight?
Just wanted to grab a magazine.
Then grab one.
Thanks.
Ich bin sicher, es ist kein Reiter.
Yeah, these not entirely friendly people. Ooh, what's the magazine?
I can't read it, it's in German.
That's some creepy looking people. That's what I'll say about that. That's some creepy looking people. Alright, so I think I want to know what they're saying. They're obviously not going to tell me what they're saying. And this will be completely and totally subtle, and no one will ever,
That's a thought.
no one will ever notice that huge tape recorder in that magazine.
Just wanted to put this magazine back. It wasn't very good. I wouldn't recommend it.
Nemo would be able to help us out with that, yes.
Immer.
Ah, Herr Baron.
Gentlemen, excuse me, please.
I apologize for not getting to you sooner. Have you been enjoying yourself?
Oh, it's been loads of fun.
Good. I'm glad you're going with us tomorrow. We don't get started until the afternoon, so won't have to worry about staying up late tonight.
I have to warn you, my hunting's kind of rusty.
I'm sure you'll do just fine.
Was?
Mist.
I demand to know what you're doing at this club.
Me?
Baron Monsell. Really?
Are you aware that this guest of yours has been asking intimate questions? Poking around in our personal affairs? He must be a reporter. Or the police.
What do we have to fear from a reporter or the police? Although I can promise you, her Knight is neither.
You don't care that he's prying into our private business? What possible motive could he have?
Gar! Please. He's my guest. You're the one who's turning that into an inquisition.
Then it is on your head.
I apologize for that.
You keep defending me. I'm not exactly helping the harmony around here.
Believe me, the harmony was shattered a long time before you came. Monsell gets territorial. I'm tired of it, frankly.
Well, I should go anyway. I wanted to clean up before tonight.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Oh,
Good enough
night,
tonight.
night.
I should be home soon. See you then.
Probably all of them. Probably all of them. Is that in there? Into chapter 3. Ooh, Predator. Gabriel's being stalked by the Predator. We might need a wolf cage. All right, chapter 4. This happens to be hands down my least favorite chapter in the entire Gabriel Knight universe, but we'll get through it. We're going to see some museums. It's going to be fun. It's all important stuff, though. Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Grace is dreaming about young Santa Claus and werewolves? Let's go downstairs and talk to our favorite friend. Oh, she's not here. He's not here. Where is Gerda?
I wonder what Gerda's up to.
She must be up to something, of course. Penny is good people. Penny is good people. Post office. Post office. I sent myself a letter the other day, I suppose, is what happened.
Guten Tag.
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakimura. Ich habe etwas für Sie.
Oh, it's from Gabriel.
Ja, das ist vom Schattenjäger. Ja.
No, I think you... Gabriel is a working partner and... Never mind. Danke.
Bitte, brauchen Sie noch etwas?
My German isn't good enough for chit-chat.
I think that's it.
Danke.
Bitte.
Gracie, you decided to come over. That's great. Good tag and all that. I'm sure you and Gertie are hitting it off. Thanks for finding the werewolf book. I'm not sure what it all means, but it might be useful. But Ludwig II, you know, I think you might have something there. Ubergrau says there are 2 places you should check out. Ludwig had a castle called New Swan something, and there's a museum about him at here in chemistry. Something like that. I really think you should spend some time looking into it.
Yes, the castle is definitely named Here in Chemistry. And then going to New Swan.
Don't worry. Things are going very smoothly this time around. I've tracked a suspect to a hunt club run by a man named Von Glauer. He seems okay, but I'm sure there's something going on with at least one of the others. Don't worry, though. I met a police detective named Lieber, so I have backup. I'll be finished soon. Sit tight and enjoy your visit till I get there. Gabriel.
What does he think, I'm on vacation here? And no address. Thank you very much, Mr. Knight.
Grace, have you considered the possibility that he doesn't want you kidnapped by a werewolf cult this time around? Werner Huber.
Herr Huber?
Yes?
Yes. Slightly friend-zoned, yes.
I was wondering if you've changed your mind about telling me where Gabriel is. It's really important.
No. Sorry.
He doesn't look very sorry at all.
Thanks.
Bitte.
Let's talk to the Smiths.
Hello there, dear.
Hi, I'm Grace Nakamura from the castle. Am I interrupting?
Heavens, no.
Have a seat, Miss Nakamura.
Well, I might. For a moment.
Isn't this nice? We just finished our breakfast. Do you want something?
No, thanks.
Good for you. I can never turn down food myself.
Are you sure?
Now you just tell us all about it, sugar pie.
You mentioned the other night that you were a demonologist. What is that exactly?
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds, honey. What Emma and I really do is to help protect people.
Protect them from what?
Well, do you believe in the devil, Miss Nakamura?
I believe in good and evil, if that helps.
Oh, but Satan and his demons are real, and they will attack the living. And most folks don't know what to do once they've been attacked. We try to help protect people.
How can you protect people from demons?
Best protection is faith in God, of course. But sometimes faith isn't enough. Sometimes we have to delve into the supernatural in order to protect others. Your Schottenjoggers are just the same.
We are? I mean, he is?
Of course. The warriors of light are rare these days, but they do exist all around the globe.
That's interesting. I just read about a group called Manos del Sol in Brazil. So the Ritters aren't the only Schottenjägers.
Well, they're probably the only ones to use that title, but others have been chosen for the battle.
Do you know anything about King Ludwig II?
Sure, we saw his castles, didn't we, Mother?
We sure did. Why do you ask?
Well, I found a letter in the Schottenjäger library warning Ludwig about the Black Wolf.
Who wrote the letter?
One of Gabriel's ancestors, a Schottenjäger.
Seems like whoever was using me as a megaphone helped you find that letter. Perhaps you should follow the path something's pointing at. Look into Ludwig.
I intend to. The other night you said something about the Black Wolf. What did you mean? Where did you hear that name?
I wasn't the one talking.
I don't understand.
Well, that's quite all right. The point is, it would be a very good idea to answer those questions, and we must work together to do so. Of course I'll help you, Pumpkin. I'd like to know myself, wouldn't I? It isn't every day one's taken over by a disembodied spirit, and I don't much care for it, thank you.
You're not talking about a seance, are you?
Oh, heavens no.
Thank God.
Himmel's right. I'm much better at tarot cards. I can read for you or for someone else if you prefer.
Tarot readings. Neat.
Are you sure you don't know anything about the Black Wolf?
I never did, dear. I told you. Really, you mustn't confuse the vessel with the voice. All I remember was seeing a very bright flash like lightning. Next thing I knew, Emil had me outside. Whatever it was very powerful. Very powerful.
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to do my tarot reading.
Don't you worry now. I know what I'm doing. Push your vital energies into the cards. This is your soul card, that which applies to all of your lifetimes. It's the Empress. Oh, that's a good one.
What's it mean?
It means that your soul's journey is one of leadership. There's great strength here, and intelligence. This card represents what you're like in this lifetime. It's the Chariot. Self-discipline, control. You need to feel you have a plan, that you're testing your abilities. The Chariot's very masculine. In combination with the Empress, it tells me that you're currently exploring your male side. You will seek out great achievement, but it does have its price.
Doesn't sound anything like me.
Yes, dear. The third card represents the other. You've pulled the Magician. Who is he, dear?
Excuse me?
Your other, the Magician. Oh, this is a very powerful card. Major Arcana.
My other?
Everyone has an other. Let's see. I bet it's the Schottenjäger. What's his name?
The Schottenjäger? Gabriel Knight.
A name of power. He is powerful, this one. The Magician is dexterous and cunning, mischievous and manipulate.
That's Gabriel, all right.
And very strong with magical and occult powers. Now this is interesting because your card, the Chariot, is all logic and reasoning, while his, the Magician, is spiritual and intuitive. You two are quite a pair. The fourth card shows what you're trying to achieve at this moment, your immediate destiny. It's the Strength or Lust card.
Lust?
Not that kind of lust, dear. It's a trial card, finding the strength to continue some difficult journey. It also represents the integration of conflicting energies. That must be your Chariot and his Magician energies. Strength also means bonding those energies, loving without judgment, learning to love the beast.
Uh-huh.
What is this trial, dear? Do you know?
Well, Gabriel and I are involved with a case right now.
It will be a hard time. You must let your love give you power. Use the positive energy of your union or you may not succeed.
I think you have the wrong idea. Gabriel and I just work together.
Yes, dear. But if I might just suggest, when you're facing negative forces, the positive energy of love is a very vital weapon. You make yourself vulnerable when you resist your own tools.
Well, that's been helpful.
I hope so, dear.
I wonder if we're going to have any time travel.
Maybe we should do a reading for Gabriel.
Oh, let's! It's a little like spying on someone unawares, but what the heck? Reach out to the cards and to think about his essence. His soul card is the Magician. Yes, dear, it reflects your other exactly.
Well, maybe, but I'd rather hold out for David Copperfield.
And his lifetime card? Oh, goodness. The Lovers.
You mean the sole purpose of his life is in his pants? Doesn't surprise me.
It's not what you think, dear. It's a duality card. As a lifetime card, it refers to Gabriel's own duality. Good versus evil, physical pleasure versus spiritual growth, that kind of thing. His challenge is to integrate the conflicting parts of himself. Until he does, he'll never find peace. And you will find peace when you acknowledge all of him. Find a way to love the worst as you already love the best.
You're really reaching.
Mother.
His other is the High Priestess.
Let me guess. That's me, right?
No, dear, it's not. The High Priestess represents psychic mysteries, deep wisdom. This is a very different energy from your earthy one. This must be our connection. To the voice, dear! Someone is trying to communicate with Gabriel. This force is represented by the High Priestess.
That's not much help. What about the Black Wolf?
But it is a help, dear. The High Priestess is a spiritual guide card if ever there was one. The message must have been a warning.
If this force is connected to Gabriel, and if he's so very psychic, then why doesn't it just go to him? Why say it to me?
Maybe Gabriel's blocked. Maybe he's purposefully blocking. There is that duality business. Let's go on and see if it becomes clear. The fourth card, remember, represents the current situation. It's death.
Oh. Nothing to worry about then.
Now you just leave interpretation up to me, Sugar Pie. It's a transformation card, dying to one thing and being born to another. It is painful, but it isn't necessarily bad. Two of Wands. Oh my.
What?
A 2 is not good here. Wands is Mars in Aries. That's a war card. In conjunction with the death card, there are 2 possible transformations.
2 transformations?
Yes, dear. Gabriel is waging a spiritual battle. The transformation might be good or evil. That must be the purpose of the High Priestess. She's trying to guide him.
So you think he really might be in danger?
Oh, yes, dear. Gabriel's very essence is at stake. If he takes the wrong path with his powers, Imola and I will stay in town. You must let me know if anything else happens that we can read for clues. Let the Force use you.
Of course, they're Star Wars fans.
I'd better go.
Anytime you need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
I don't have anything to say to Herr Huber at the moment. Gerda's here. I wonder what she's up to.
Gerda was in love with Wolfgang.
Don't you feel stupid now? I appreciate the dedication, Orc Swag. I really do. Enjoy your exercise. Don't you feel stupid now, Grace? Yeah, I know. It's such a big shock. Such a shock. What can we do to rectify this? Yes, to Narnia. Going to Narnia will solve so many problems. Grab some flowers. No, Grace, don't get greedy.
An emergency exit? I guess that makes sense if you're fighting the legions of darkness. The castle looks huge from here. They've got more rooms left to restore than I thought. The castle looks huge from here.
Right. Now, back to the church. Don't think we need all these transitions right now. Apology roses.
That's better, don't you think? I'm so sorry. I was an idiot.
Gabriel and I, we never...
I know. It's my fault. It's Gabriel's fault. He never tells me anything. I don't know why he didn't want me on this case.
Maybe he just...
Don't even try to make excuses for him. Still, he's up to his neck in it, I think. Will you help me out with something?
Of course.
I have to do some research on Ludwig. I want to go see some of his castles.
Take Gabriel's car. There's a map of southern Bavaria in the car. Ludwig's castles are all marked.
Thanks.
Good luck.
This is not all Gabriel's fault. The last time you got involved in a case, you got kidnapped by a voodoo cult and almost sacrificed by Lieutenant Worf. He was trying to protect you from that. Moment. This. How we start the museum tour. This will be fun. I'm using the wrong notes. I'm using the wrong keyboard. I am so confused. So very confused. Let's go. This one first. I forget how badly Gabriel pronounced it, but we'll go to Weinstein. I didn't do much better.
I don't think the guards want to be bothered while on duty.
Ooh, a tour table.
Our tour begins in the entry hall. Ludwig II lived from 1845 to 1886. He assumed the Bavarian throne at the age of 18 when his father died. Ludwig's passion was building castles. He built 3 during his lifetime: Linderhof, Herrenchiemsee, and Neuschwanstein. Plans for a 4th castle, Falkenstein, were underway when he died. In addition to his obsession with building, Ludwig also had a passion for classical heroic German mythology, a taste he shared with the German opera composer Richard Wagner. Neuschwanstein is decorated throughout with themes from these stories, most of which directly relate to Wagner's operas.
Yeah. Even the guards had enough of it.
These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story. These scenes...
The paintings in this room are from the Siegfried saga.
These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story.
The paintings in this room are from the Siegfried saga.
So that's those two paintings.
I wonder where that door leads. I wonder where that door leads.
You'll never find out. Or will you? I'm not sure.
Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde. Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde. You are now standing in the king's bedroom. The theme of the bedroom is Tristan and Isolde, the tragic love story retold in Wagner's opera. The opera was given its first performance in Munich in 1865, and a 20-year-old Ludwig attended. This is probably the most elaborate and expensive bedroom ever created. It took 14 woodcarvers 4.5 years to create this room. It was this kind of extravagance that bankrupted the king. In the years before his death, he found it increasingly difficult to find money from any source.
Did they have running water in 1886?
The richly carved bed, with its canopy, resembles a Gothic building in its turrets. The bed's draperies were handmade by dozens of Bavarian seamstresses.
Maybe Ludwig thought all this luxury would help him sleep. Maybe Ludwig...
This is Ludwig's private chapel. The king was a devout Catholic, as were all of the Wittelsbacher rulers. They supported the Roman Church even when other European countries were dominated by Protestantism.
It's a beautiful crucifix, ivory and gold. A king saint? I wonder if Ludwig pictured himself that way, or maybe he just wanted to be that way.
The paintings above the altar depict St. Louis surrounded by the seraphim. An interesting side note. For a period of about a year, the Louis images in all three castles were ordered to be covered up with black cloth on the unfathomable whim of the king.
The Black Madonna of Altadine. I wonder what her story is all about.
I'm being very methodical about this because whenever I play this game, I find that you don't have to interact with every single thing in the museum, but there are a bunch of key things you do have to interact with, and I always have to go back and forth between all the museums, finding what I missed.
The stained glass window depicts St. Louis receiving the last sacraments.
don't think the guards want to be bothered while on duty.
Sure they do. That's what they're there for. That's for the museum.
The Miracle of the Grail.
The Grail. Interesting. Wonder if that's going to come up in any future Gabriel Knight adventure.
These linens look seriously expensive and seriously old.
This is the king's living room. The walls are decorated with scenes from the Lohengrin saga. The king first saw Wagner's opera Lohengrin when he was 16, and it so affected him that he considered it a form of enlightenment. The tragedy of Lohengrin was his essential loneliness. This too was Ludwig's own fate. Ludwig withdrew more and more into his fantasy world of epic heroes and absolute monarchy. An ideal he was determined to create in his castles if he could not have it in his real life. He only wanted to be alone with his dreams, so much so that even his servants were kept at a distance and were not allowed to look at him.
What were you afraid they'd see? I'm surprised people don't sit in these chairs when the guard's not looking.
Is it the only thing we had to say about the chair? Of course it is.
These linens look seriously expensive and seriously old.
The Miracle of the Grail. The swan motif is featured throughout the castle, but it is particularly prominent in this room. Both the swan and the lily were symbols Ludwig associated with himself. They represented his ideals of majesty and purity. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival.
More swans.
I think I have this room covered.
This is a reproduction of the grotto from the Tannhäuser saga. In such places, Ludwig could pretend he was one of his beloved mythic heroes. As the grotto personifies, the castles were solitary playgrounds built for Ludwig alone. He believed the masses were too coarse to appreciate fine art, and he seldom entertained guests. In fact, Ludwig had a standing order that upon his death, the castles were to be destroyed. Fortunately, the estate was in such debt that the castles were opened for paying tours only weeks after Ludwig's death. They haven't closed since. It is one of the great ironies of Ludwig's story that the castles that he was thought insane for building are now considered Bavaria's finest treasures. They have paid for their construction many times over.
I can almost picture Ludwig in here. I wonder what he really dreamt about in this room. I doubt there's anything left in there now. Besides, the guard would kill me if I touched it.
This is the king's study. Ludwig spent much time at his desk writing letters, drawing up plans for his projects, and studying his favorite authors. He loved poetry, history, and the classics. In later years, he also studied the occult. What affairs of state he did reluctantly attend to were generally attended to alone at his desk in writing. His reluctance to meet with his heads of state and perform the duties of the king were one of the reasons for the charges brought against him in 1886. But Ludwig dreamt of true kingship and a true monarchy, and the small powers left to him after Bavaria succeeded power to Prussia only incited his disdain and frustration. The study paintings depict scenes from the Tannhäuser Saga in the Wartburg Castle. The study paintings depict The study paintings.
I wonder why he was studying the occult before he died. I wonder why.
Quite yet. That exits. It's the. No, I've been to this room too. Been to this room too. Okay. Okay.
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall. It was modeled after the Singers' Hall of the Wartburg Castle, where minstrel competitions were held in the 13th century. The hall was built for small private concerts, but Ludwig himself never gave one here. It is said that during the last few years of Wagner's life, he came to Neuschwanstein frequently and performed for the king alone in this room. The hall is probably best known for its enigmatic wolf paintings. The original paintings were from the Parsifal saga, but in 1882, Ludwig had them replaced, supplying the description and titles of the new paintings himself. While all the other rooms in the castle show scenes from Wagner's operas, the scenes in this room are not from any opera that anyone can identify. It is yet another of the many mysteries associated with the life of the fairy tale king. Engelhard courts Hildegunde. Engelhard and the blacksmith.
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings, but what story? There must be a
The hunters tracked down Engelhard and Hildegunde. Hildegunde's imprisonment.
That very subtle work. I actually do like the artwork.
The wedding feast of Hildegunde and the Baron. The death of Engelhard.
The death of Engelhard. That's not Engelhard there, so that must be Engelhard. Interesting. That seems very interesting. pictures that you've seen.
Nice view of the Alps.
Ludwig's childhood castle, Hohenschwangau, is visible from the lookout in the Singers' Hall.
Nice view of the Alps. Nice view.
Okay, it's a nice view of the Alps. Alright.
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall. The hall was built. The hall is probably...
Right, the Alps are a slightly different problem. Okay. Back here. Into the swan room. Over here.
I wonder where that door leads. These scenes are from the Siegfried saga.
The paintings in this room...
Okay. I give myself only about a 60% chance that I caught everything that I needed to catch. We'll move on to the next one anyway. Yeah, we'll go on to here in chemistry. There's somebody to talk to here.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
She looks grumpy.
Ist das die Ludwig Museum? Ja, ja. Ludwig der Zweite von Bayern.
Yep. Anybody got something on that one?
Ich hätte gern eine Eintrittskarte fürs Museum. Ja, 8 Mark für eine Ganztagskarte. So. Danke. Bitte.
A ticket to the Ludwig Museum. July 3rd, 1863. Elizabeth, you can have no idea, dear cousin, how happy you made me. The hours recently passed with you in the railway carriage I consider among the happiest in my life. Never will their memory fade. You gave me permission to visit you at Ischl. If the time comes for this ardent hope to be fulfilled, I shall be of all men upon earth the most blessed. The feelings of sincere love and reverence and faithful attachment to you, which I cherished in my heart even as a boy, makes me imagine heaven upon earth and will be extinguished by death alone. I beg you with all my heart to forgive the contents of this letter, but I could not help myself. Ludwig.
I would not discount that possibility. They're royalty. They do that kind of thing all the time.
Elizabeth frequently gave Ludwig advice on royal conduct, hoping to protect him from unfavorable public opinion. March 1st, 1865. My dearest Eagle, you have not written me in a few months. I have missed you. I often try to imagine what you are doing. I hear tales that you have been on retreat and have not been seen in Munich for some time. I suspect it is this new friend you wrote up so mysteriously that takes you away from home. I hope you are enjoying yourself, my beloved, but I beg you to caution. The people need to see you at the throne. I also hesitate to suggest that what your officials do in your absence may not always be in your own best interest. You have always been a true king, but you must let the people see you to ensure that they don't forget that. E. Your dove. Ludwig's friends were concerned for his mental state long before his arrest. June 14th, 1878. My beloved Eagle, in your last letter you spoke so movingly of your torment that I was moved to tears. What is this torment? Why won't you confess to me what is truly troubling you? You must know that I would never despise you, no matter how horrible you believe your sins to be. Please do not write such barbs to my heart by even suggesting such things. If you do not wish to confess to me, at least tell me how I can aid you. I am always your true one, your dove. In this letter, dated November 1886, Elizabeth of Austria thanks Bishop Frank for his assistance in helping her fulfill Ludwig's last wishes. She writes that she knows it was an unusual request, but she believes Ludwig had reasons of his own for wishing it to be done. She hopes that his spirit finds peace at last. No further reference to this letter has ever been found. One can only speculate what the last wishes of a cornered and embattled Ludwig might have been.
What were his last wishes? This place is giving me more questions than answers.
That's some letters.
They certainly make an incredible looking couple. She's beautiful. One of Ludwig's few close friends was Empress Elizabeth of Austria. She was a distant cousin of the boy Prince, and he saw her often growing up.
A little better.
Graceful and beautiful, Elizabeth seemed to represent the feminine ideal to the younger Ludwig. Their friendship continued after her marriage, mainly by correspondence. She remained a source of stability for Ludwig throughout his life. In keeping with Ludwig's love of romance and drama, he called her the Dove, and he to her was the Eagle. Ludwig is Prince Charming. He played the part well.
That's fine. I don't think it would be appropriate, and I don't want you to call me that, because it's just weird.
Ludwig and Wagner. Ludwig loved the opera of his contemporary Richard Wagner. He helped support Wagner's music through much of his life. Ludwig considered Wagner a close friend, often calling him the great friend. Wagner encouraged this infatuation, some believe, for personal gain. Typical artist. Even after Wagner's death, Ludwig still showed signs of obsession with the composer. This letter, written in 1882 by Ludwig to the conductor of the Munich Opera, instructs the conductor to make preparations for a new Wagner opera. The conductor went to see the king as instructed. When he arrived, Ludwig was ill and refused to see him. Nothing further was ever heard of this mysterious new opera. Was it a figment of an ill man's desperate wishes? Ludwig is offered a crown of laurels by the genius of immortal fame. 26th July, 1874. By the power of the lily, we shall have the strength to resist all temptations throughout the whole year. July 1875. Solemn oath before the picture of the great king. Refrain for 3 months from all excitement. This oath has its binding power as well as its potency by de par le Roy, LNR, DPLR. What excitement! I need to see more of that diary. Signets and sash pins from the Order of the Knights of St. George. These were worn on Ludwig's uniform, as befitted his rank of Grand Master. They are now the property of the Bavarian Crown Treasury. I wonder if these pins have any symbolic meaning.
They probably do.
I wonder if these... Looks like it weighs a ton. Ludwig's Grand Master Wardrobe from the Knights of St. George. Richard Wagner. Ludwig's diary. Ludwig kept a diary from 1869 when he was 24 years old until his death. The diary provides a fascinating look into the mind of this tormented man. The original diary is kept in the Royal Archives. A few entries are shown on the opposite wall. I've got to see that diary.
Still wandering through museums.
He looks so regal. Why would he give up all of this pageantry and become a recluse? Ludwig is Grand Master of the Knights of St. George. The Knights of St. George was an aristocratic society dedicated to the acts of chivalry. Ludwig loved the medieval pageantry of the order in his early years, before his increasing reclusiveness drove him to abandon public appearances. June 7th, 1886. A group of men arrive at Neuschwanstein Castle, demanding to take the king in custody. With them is Dr. Guden, the doctor who had been in charge of Otto, the king's mentally ill brother. The men have an order for the king's arrest on the grounds of insanity. They are refused admittance by a brave group of farmers and local soldiers who have come to Ludwig's aid. They are forced to retreat to nearby Hohenschwangau. This is the first Ludwig hears of the conspiracy. Ludwig composes a pamphlet explaining the subversive acts of the conspirators and eloquently pleading with his people for aid. The pamphlet is smuggled out of Neuschwanstein and printed, but the pamphlets are seized before they can be distributed. June 12, 1886. Ludwig knows the conspirators will return. He despairs. He asks his servant for the keys to the tower. The servant, fearing the king intends suicide, says the key is lost. Unbeknownst to Ludwig, the conspirators arrive at the castle. This time, there is no one to stop them. Ludwig is lured from his bedroom to the entry hall of Neuschwanstein on pretense. There, he is taken into custody. Ludwig is taken by carriage from Neuschwanstein to Berg, where his brother Otto had long been imprisoned. This is a great blow to the king's state of mind. While on the way, the group stops at Seeshaupt to change horses. Ludwig asks to see the postmistress, Frau Vogel. She brings him a glass of water and he says something to her. She never reveals these last words to anyone. June 13th, 1886. At Berg, Ludwig seems cooperative and coherent. Dr. Guden writes to the government that he has Ludwig well under control. The two men go out for a walk, and Dr. Guden is so confident he dismisses the guards. When Ludwig and the doctor do not return after several hours, a search is undertaken. The bodies of the two men are found in the lake, drowned. Circumstances unknown. June 18th, 1886. Ludwig's funeral procession marches through the streets of Munich, followed by enormous crowds of mourners. The service is held at a packed St. Michael's church. Lightning strikes the church during the service, but no one is harmed. Ludwig's body is entombed in the Wittelsbach crypt at St. Michael's. His heart is placed in an urn in the pilgrimage chapel at Altading in the Wittelsbach tradition. The urn is shown to the right. His heart is in an urn. How bizarre. June 18th, 18. Ludwig's body.
Okay. There's the last days of King Ludwig.
Oh my God. That's the slave from my dream.
What's going on?
Maybe Mrs. Smith will know what my dream meant. I have to ask someone. This thing is getting too weird.
Maybe you should have stayed in New Orleans.
The midnight sleigh rides. Ludwig went on long sleigh rides in the middle of the night, particularly in his later years. It is said that he suffered from insomnia, headaches, and toothaches, and the rides soothed his restlessness. The sight of the king's grand sleigh speeding through the countryside of the Alps often startled the peasants and became a superstitious omen of ill fortune. I can see why. But what was he doing out there at night? Ludwig embarking on his sleigh. Maybe Mrs. Smith will know what my dream meant. I have to ask someone. December 14th, 1881, Linderhof. Order another work by Jennings on the occult. Write urgently to Klug saying that I insist that the stoppages by the bank cease. I want it, and therefore it must be done. Write very urgently. He must succeed at once, and then must report to me urgently. If I give orders to clear my room, doing so must not be postponed as it happened. Pencils must be pointed without special orders. The day after tomorrow, 1,000 marks. How is Louis now? I want to know whether he looks unhappy. How often have I said that the coffee must not come up boiling hot, so that it can only be drunk after standing an hour? If any more correspondence come from Louis, they are to be burnt immediately, but I am to be informed of their arrival.
Coffee, pencils, stuff.
These are actual notes from Ludwig to his servants. They go far in showing the king's state of mind. They were smuggled out and used as evidence in compiling the order for Ludwig's arrest. December 18th, 1881, Linderhof. Every day get up earlier, for certain. See to that very particularly. Write it down. Remember that when the great friend arrives at Neuschwanstein, we retire to the hall. We are not to be disturbed. I will not tolerate interference or insubordination. Ludwig's death mask. Wow.
Creepy.
I have no idea what that says. Looks old, though.
Okay. I think I've seen everything at the Ludwig Museum, but again, I only give myself about a 60% chance that I've actually seen everything. So let's go back to Rittersburg then, so that we can unlock more museums. Maybe see the Smiths. I'll be here.
Herr Huber?
Yes?
Are the Smiths in their room?
Ja, I believe so.
Could you ask them to come down, please?
Ja, natürlich.
Now you just tell Merle what's going on.
I had a dream last night. I didn't remember it at first, but I saw something today at one of the museums.
What was the dream?
I was being chased in the woods by wolves. And I saw a sleigh. Ludwig was inside. He pulled me up, and I thought I was safe. But then he turned into a wolf.
So what do you think, Mother?
A dream of rescue is a spiritual guide dream. The High Priestess in Gabriel's cards must be linked to Ludwig somehow.
What do the wolves represent?
I'm a psychic, dear, not Freud. But the warning I got was about the black wolf, wasn't it? And the wolves in the dream. It must be the same danger.
It's so frustrating. The more I find out, the more questions I have.
Why don't you try a little communicating of your own? Ludwig's the link. Appeal to him. The answers may not come right away, but at least you'll give the guide something specific to say the next time she contacts you.
Isn't there any way that you could, do a psychic reading on Ludwig or something?
To tell you the truth, I've been trying all day to make contact, but I only feel great despair. Ludwig's soul is not at peace.
What's up with Ludwig?
I'd better go.
Anytime you need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
Hi, did you have a good time?
Uh-huh. Anything new?
Yes, you had a phone call.
Really?
A man named Professor Barkley. He said you had his number.
I do. Thanks.
Professor Broccoli is called.
Gerda? Yes?
Oh, they're so happy with one another now. It's so wonderful.
Have you heard from Gabriel at all?
No, Grace, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
They're friends now, yes. Yes, because Grace realized she was not being nice, and now they're friends. They're gonna be besties.
Who should I call?
You should call Professor Broccoli.
Hello?
Hi, Professor Barkley. It's Grace.
Oh, good. I have a name for you. It's Herr Josef Dahlmeier, and he specializes in Bavarian history, and I think he's somewhere near you are.
Was it good? Was it tasty? What did you eat?
Dahlmeier. Great, got a number?
Yeah, I do. It's 4982-555-2234.
Thanks a lot. Sorry about the bother.
That's no bother. When are you coming back to school, Gracie?
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Well, be good.
Oh, she can't make snarky comments about the book anymore. That's awesome.
It wasn't worth picking up the first time.
Let's call other person.
Hallo?
Hallo, sind Sie Herr Josef Dahlmeier?
Yeah, you must be Grace Nakamura, the American history student.
Yes.
I hear you're interested in Ludwig II.
Very.
Good. There's something I want to show you. Drive to Berg on Starnberger See. Meet me at the Memorial Chapel.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, wait. Was there anything you wanted me to look into before we meet?
Well, I was hoping you knew something about someone called the Black Wolf. He was a contemporary of Ludwig's. He lived in Prussia, I think, and he was well connected.
Never heard of him, but I'll check. See you there.
Thanks. Bye.
Black Wolf. What can you tell me about the Black Wolf?
I'll write to Gabriel, soon as I have enough info to blow his little investigation out of the water.
There's nothing else on werewolves in the occult section.
I'm not sure what other case books would be relevant.
Is there more books to look at?
I wish I could read these biographies of Ludwig. Wait a minute. Ludwig II, fairy tale king of Bavaria. I didn't see this before. Yep, English. Huh.
Right, because Gerda couldn't read the book. She couldn't help in any way. No, you've got to find an English book. So, Richmond Chapel. Interesting.
Ludwig remained throughout his life both very bright and very naive. He was an introvert who seemed to be constantly out of sync with traditional views of rulership, money, and human relationships.
Introverts.
The world ever failed to match his ideals. Perhaps this was a fault of his sheltered upbringing as future king. He never was introduced to the real world, and the real world failed to interest him as an adult.
In his youth, Ludwig was in fine physical condition and loved to hike alone in the Alps and ride horses. He had a hunting lodge, Schahen, specifically for this purpose. Unfortunately, in 1872, a rather traumatic hunting accident befell the king at Schahen, and his leg was cruelly damaged.
He never fully recovered from this incident, and his hiking and riding ceased. His physical health deteriorated from that time on, and explains why he looked so unhealthy in later years. A hunting accident?
Hello, introvert.
Other than his long-standing friendship with the Empress Elizabeth of Austria and with his mother, the relationships Ludwig attempted with others were nearly always a disappointment for him and a bewilderment for his partners. He would become obsessed with someone, a singer, an artist, a nobleman or a peasant, and would bombard them with gifts, praise, and favors. When they would fail to return the depths of rapturous passion he required, the singular adoration and humble obedience he expected, he would grow disappointed and cut himself off from them. The objects of his interest were occasionally women, usually ones he fell in love with after seeing them in idealized roles on the stage, but they were more often young men who fit his fantasies of the heroic sagas like Lohengrin and Parsifal that he so loved. A good example of the king's obsessive behavior in relationships is the following letter from the Königlich Bayerische Archives, which this author was privileged to access. It is dated 1864, and it was written by Ludwig's manservant, Paul, to a friend. The king has been in high mood these days. The reason, of course, is a new interest. Thursday last, the king attended a performance of Lohengrin in the Wittelsbacher Theater. He came back in a fever, demanding that a man be found. The man, it was gathered, had been sitting in a box across from Ludwig and had drawn the king's attention by his beauty and his deep emotional response to the performance. The king declared that here at last is a sensitive soul. The man was tracked down and brought in for an audience. Upon my word, never have I seen any mind so in line with His Majesty's own. They discussed Wagner and France and Byron and all manner of things until long past dawn. The young man, beautiful indeed to look upon, met the king's enthusiasm and knowledge bit for bit. His Majesty has been in the thick of it ever since, and while I welcome his good temper, I grow tired of fetching letters back and forth to Louis, so called by His Majesty, that should tell you who the young man looks like, at all hours of the night. This author has not been able to learn much about Louis, but he was known to have been a seemingly high-bred foreigner, and he was involved with Ludwig as late as 1880, when he fell into disfavor.
I wonder who Louis was.
The king, especially later in life, felt a great deal of guilt about his sensual nature. His diaries are full of repentant entries begging God for forgiveness and swearing to remain pure. In many of the diary entries, he swears to abstain from sexual relations. The number of these oath entries indicate that Ludwig was not very successful in resisting temptation, yet it is also clear that Ludwig was a God-fearing man and that, though his flesh might occasionally fall, he never surrendered his heart and his conscience to sin.
Okay, that's another book. How about that? And yes, apparently gay.
I'm not sure why I'd want to call the biography's publisher.
Really? You're not? Why are you not sure about that? Surely you want to talk to that guy, don't you? Okay, I guess that's a little later on. Okay. It looks like we're actually coming up on 2 hours now. We've done a fair bit in the museum tour. We're going to have a couple more museums to go to, but it is starting to get late. I have work tomorrow, and so I think this might be a good time to end it. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you all for your interest in the game. Appreciate the company as we hunt werewolves. And I think we probably want to try to find somebody to raid now. Let's take a look at who's on. Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. Let's like I said, let's see who's on so that we can find somebody to rate. Oh, Tonks is on. Let's raid Tonks. I want to raid Tonks.